Shalom, 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 family. All praises to the Most High, Yahuwah, Bahashem, Yahusha, or Yahushua, or Yahawashai. I'm still learning, so I will say those three things until my research has led me to concretely say his name correctly. So forgive me for saying all three. I'm not saying all three as in to say, all three names are valid. I'm saying all three so that I eventually get it corrected. I know there are lots of people who sometimes dogmatically say to me, "Hey, make sure you say Yahawashai and stuff like that," and based on the sounds of the words and stuff. So until I have concretely studied and come down to the conclusion that that is the name, that the sound of his name, I will say all three. So forgive me for those of you who may understand I'm being kind of hard and stuff like that. I'm not just going to bend to anybody just trying to correct me and say it's Yahushai, it's Yahushai. All right, but all respect to all of you. I still love you all as brothers. I still love all of you as sisters as well. House cleaning. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to Suzanne who sent me a $20 cash app for the auto mechanic video I did on the replacement of radiators. Thank you very much, Suzanne. I really appreciate that $20. It went a very long way. It helped us, to purchase some diapers for our kids. Um, we're in a tough situation right now because our license plate for our car was taken away from us. The license plate has been suspended for quite a while. We went to court for it and stuff. The judge had actually even showed us some leniency, and it's just rough on us right now. It's really rough. We're trying to make our way, and I might be out of a job because I have no car right now. We have a car that we paid for, that we just paid the insurance for, that we just paid the car note on, and yet still, you know, we basically don't have a license plate to travel. And I think that's the system, the government system around the world is so unfair, and it is so cruel that it is robbing the living life out of everybody that it so calls govern. How is it that you pay for something for your blood, sweat, and tears, and then the government is going to be able to tell you whether you get to use that device or not on roads that you're paying taxes for right now? If you hear any sounds in the background, it's my children. Please forgive me for it. I am at home. I have been at home since Monday. Um, I think the government system around the world needs to be corrected because too many of us are living in poverty. We're working through the teeth. We're working within an inch of our lives and we're barely being able to make it. And I want to be honest in telling you right now that I make roughly $4,000 a month, give or take a couple hundred, and we are barely being able to survive when you count up all the expenses in terms of rent, utilities, food, diapers for the children, etc. We're barely making it. And I look at it and I was like, at one point in time, like even a couple of years ago, $4,000 would have seemed like more than enough to get by even with our four kids. But we're barely scratching the surface with four grand right now, and it's pretty rough now because I have to give myself over to the Most High, asking Him to you know lead me, direct me, guide me, because right now things are super rough, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I know that eventually I might get that letter this week that I don't have a job. I know I spoke to my bosses last night, and that's a different situation in which they're asking me to do a rent a car, and I'm expressing to them that I basically can't afford a rent a car because it's just more debt added on the debt that I already have, and it's just gonna, like, you understand, it's gonna put us in more debt, which is what I don't want right now. But at the same time, I need income, and in a way, I feel like Bosses are usually heartless when it comes to certain situations and stuff like that. The verses I want to talk about in relevance to the situation that we are all going through right now is you should be enjoying the fruits of your labor. I have made a video like this before, and we're gonna go through it because I think it's important to understand that you are being robbed by the government that is allowing your life to deteriorate, and that you're struggling, and you're only struggling to continue to struggle. It's not scriptural to work and not enjoy the fruits of your labor. And I'm going to say it again. It is not scriptural for you to work and not enjoy the fruits of your labor. There's nowhere in the Bible that says you should be struggling when you're working and not enjoy the fruits of your labor. It's actually not correct. It's not right. And if there's a government that is causing you to lose quality of life when you're working, then that government is not serving its people, and that government should actually not exist. um do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm just saying these things to help everyone understand that if you're struggling right now, if you're struggling to make ends meet and you're working your life away, you're working your ass off, like I am working my ass off. And I work my ass off because I have too many people depending on me. I have 5 people depending on me. It used to be 6 because our mother-in-law does not live with us anymore. And that's another story to be told in time. In time, there's going to be a story to be told about our mother-in-law being taken away from us by my wife's sister, who is now pretending to care about her mother when she left her with us for 6 years. Um, things are rough for everybody. Things are rough, and it's going to get rougher. It is going to get rougher, and the things that we have to be diligent right now, trust in the Most High Yah. Do not, lean onto your own understanding. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, but lean not to thy own understanding. But in all thy ways, acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. So right now, I am sitting still. I told the Most High that I am not moving until he tells me to move. I refuse to move until he tells me to move. Right now, a lot of people will look at me and say, hey, whatever. And I spoke to a very, this is an uncle that I always go to in case I need advice on, being able to, when I need wisdom, I turn to this uncle and see what he says and see if it lines up with what I was thinking. And even if it doesn't line up with what I'm thinking, I usually take his advice because he's just that important to me. In any case, let's move into the Bible verses. We're going to start with Ecclesiastes. We're going to start with Ecclesiastes 3, chapter 3, verse 13. And it says, and I'm going to scroll down to the KJV, which is right here. All right. Move up this a little bit so you can see it. And also that every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labor. It is the gift of Elohim. It is the gift of Yahuwah. People, if you're working and people telling you, oh, you're spending your money buying foolish things, that's actually not scriptural. Whatever you use your money to buy that is beneficial for your joy, that's your business. And it's not unscriptural for you to buy things that make you happy when you worked so hard with your blood, sweat, and tears. You see, I'm tired of people always trying to tell you what to do with your money because there's a life out there robbing you of the quality of your life. And that's why people always try to advise you because we live in a system in which it robs us of the quality of life. And because it does that, a lot of people try to advise us in like, yo, your quality of life won't slip if you do this or if you do that. And it's wrong. It is wrong. Why is it wrong? It's wrong because you should be put in a mindset by which you aren't enjoying what you work for, period. If you want to buy drinks and drink that off and stuff like that, yes, alcoholism is against scriptures and stuff like that, but it is your fruit of your labor, and you should be able to enjoy whatever it is that you make. There are times where we are dead broke. There was a time in the past we were dead broke, like dead broke, and we had like probably $50 in our bank account at the time. And we walked in Walmart. We were just window shopping in Walmart at the time. We just decided that we would window shop, my wife and I. And we saw some toys. We saw some toys. And at the time, we had just had Amy, our very first child. And that's also a long story as to why we were broke too. Because at the time, I worked two jobs. I worked two jobs. And we saw a toy for Amy, and I was like saying to my wife, "Yo, that looks nice, and I'd love for Amy to have it and stuff like that." And my wife was like, "Yeah," and she was sad, and I was sad. You know what I did? I went and bought the toy, and my wife said, "Why you do that? We don't have the money." I said, "Ashley, for too long in my childhood have I longed for things, and could not get it until I started working for myself. you know she is my seed, and she should enjoy every single benefit of my labor, even if I can't enjoy the benefit of my own labor." And so that's how it's always been. It's like, even when I'm broke, I'm buying a toy for them. Even when I'm broke, I'm buying toys for my children. And so, I buy a toy for them. Anyway, it is very good for you to enjoy the fruits of your labor. This is scriptural. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, that you should be putting your money to this, putting your money to that. It's because of the system that we live in that it robs us of the quality of life from what we you I mean, think about it. We wake up every day, we're struggling to make ends meet. We're struggling to pay rent for a house that we're barely in. We're struggling to keep lights on. We're struggling to enjoy water that comes from the very sky. We're paying for water. We are paying for water that comes from the sky that nobody owns. I want you people to understand that. We're paying for water and resources. All of these resources don't come um unnaturally. They're naturally from the earth itself. I don't care if electricity has to go through a system and stuff like that. If you don't own that system, you own the machinery and stuff like that. But the resources that are used to power our homes, it is natural from the earth, and we're paying for it. You're paying taxes for roads. You're paying taxes for a car that you drive. You're paying tax. You have to pay. You have to pay every single year around the world. You have to renew your registration for your car. You have to get the car checked out. Understandable about the car getting checked out to make sure it's safe to drive on the road. That part I agree with. But you having to constantly pay taxes on that car or renew all that car, I don't agree with that. Next thing, um, let's move on to our next verse. There are times I want to say this too, and I think it's a very important. This is my second point. My second point is this: is that you have a lot of people that you work for that basically they rob you of wages, and they try to muzzle you, and they try to manipulate you. And that's one thing that I realize a lot of people have done to me because I'm an immigrant. And when you're an immigrant in America, the sweet is the sweet and the sour is just as sour. And I need to say that to people that people always ask me, is America a bed of roses? And I said, well, it's both a bed of roses and a bed of thorns, because you can get your roses, but you also have to understand that you're gonna get your thorns as well. And the thing about it is that I am not going to tell people a lie about America being like a lot of people always say these things that America is like some sort of like trap and all that. And yes, it can be. It can be. It can be a trap. It can be a trap. And the thing about it is that just as how much people have made it a trap, people can also survive and be successful in America as well. And I tell the difference between America and Jamaica a lot is that in Jamaica you will work your life out but have nothing to show for it. In America, you can definitely work your life out, and if you work a little bit smarter with your life, or you can put something aside, which is what I'm not lying about. Recently, of course, that has begun to change. Whereas it doesn't matter how hard you work or how much hours you do, things are just getting more and more expensive on everyone. Um, um, I just want to say that it's unfair. Life is unfair. The government is an unfair system, and it exists. And it exists because people pay their taxes, and if you don't pay your taxes, you go to prison. Taxation is theft. And I've always believed that even while growing up in Jamaica, I've always believed that taxation is theft. You don't have the right to take money that don't belong to you. Nobody has that right. If we're paying taxes for the roads and for war and stuff like that, that's fine. But beyond that, nobody should be paying taxes for anything else. I don't believe that you should be even renting water because it's a natural resource that the government should provide to every single home that's paying their taxes. It shouldn't be something that you're paying for. And one thing that the government fails to understand, or they do understand, is that when people can no longer pay their taxes, there will no longer be a government. So it is within the government's best interest to make sure that its citizens are able to pay their taxes by allowing them the amenities that alleviate certain stresses that make sure that they pay their taxes. As calm as I am speaking right now, I'm not worried, but I'm troubled. We're gonna run out of resources soon, and it's only going to be by the grace of the Most High that we survive like next 2 weeks after this week. Could always get another job, but the problem is that I might have to just like start taking the bus, which I have no problem with. You know, I might have to get another job, but just to keep us afloat. Um, First Timothy 5:18 says, First Timothy, let's go for the KJV. For the scripture saith, Thou shalt not muzzle the ox that treadeth out the corn, and the laborer is worthy of his reward. I don't remember if I told you this, that there are many people that I used to work for that, you know, stole money from me. Like didn't pay me because, their business wasn't doing well. Let me tell you something, it is a sin for them to do that. Don't let people manipulate you by telling you you're a great worker, whatever it is. No, pay me what you owe me. Don't let people manipulate you by telling you you're a great worker. No, pay me what you freaking owe me. I don't want to hear I'm a great worker. I have bills I need to take care of. Pay me what you owe me. Oh, the business is not doing so well. I don't care how your business is doing. Pay me what you owe me. Oh, the business is gonna fail, and I don't care. I don't care. Pay me what you owe me. The laborer is worthy of his reward. The laborer is worthy of his reward. People, when you're out there killing out yourself for your money, you're worthy of that money, or even more than that. Whatever it is that you have agreed upon when you work for someone, that is what you should be paid. No less, no more. If they decide to bless you with a bonus, then that's up to them. Do you understand what I am saying? Do you understand what I am saying? Don't let bosses, small businesses are like the businesses that love to do this manipulation tactic to people that are less fortunate. Like a lot of us would not be working for a lot of these small businesses if we could help it. And that's the truth about it. Like a lot of us hate small business owners because you people love to nickel and dime people. You love to take money that don't like take money out of people's pay and stuff like that. That's not right. That's not right. For the scripture said, "Thou shalt not muzzle the ox that treadeth out the corn, and the laborer is worthy of his reward." Meaning that whatever you work for, you fully deserve that. Don't let anybody in this world ever make you feel like you are not worthy of what you've worked for. All right, we're gonna move on to Deuteronomy 24:15. At his day thou shalt give him his hire, neither shall the sun go down upon it. For he is poor, and setteth his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee unto the Lord, and it be sin unto thee. I hope you guys remember the time I took my ex-employer to court over. This guy owed me over 20 grand, 20 to 30 grand, and I got nothing out of it, nothing. And it's a long story, and I told it in YouTube. I told it on YouTube already about the story about what happened. How this man was my landlord and also my boss at the same time. And he was robbing me on both ends. He was robbing me on both ends. You understand? And like I said before, when you're an immigrant, this is what people do. People take advantage of you. So like I said before, the sweet is the sweet and the sour is extremely sour when it comes to you being an immigrant. And I would suggest to a lot of people, when you're an immigrant and you come here, make sure you build a lot of networks. You build a like one of the main things that really helps me out is a lot of network of friends and people. And I mean like friends in particular, because family will leave you to die in this place. Like America is a really cutthroat place where Jamaican family will leave it, like them will ignore you, completely ignore you, like you asking them for help to like even bum on their coaches or anything like that. And these people will leave you to die. These people would not give a shit if you drop down and die, but will shed a tear afterwards at the funeral if it happens to you. But when asked, what did you do to help them out? Did you help them, get through whatever it is? No, these people will not give a shit about you. I need you to know that. So it's very good to build a network of trustworthy people. When I came up, I had my one best friend from high school, from primary school, that I've known since I was a little boy. And this dude did like every single thing for me. This dude did whatever he could for me. This dude let me crash on his couch. This dude like helped me get a job. This dude helped me with a lot of things. And as he goes through trouble sometimes too, I reach out and I say, yo, you want a place to crash? Because I want to return that favor of what this dude has done for me. You understand? Because of what he's done for me, I sometimes try to pay it forward too. Whenever I have a Jamaican friend coming up that looking to do, certain things, I say, yo, do you need a place to stay? Do you need a place to crash? Whatever it is. Because my friend did not charge me a dime. My friend did not charge me a dime. So I was able to save the money that I was making. And even when I start to make a little bit, and I say, yo, Virgin, let me pay half the lights and whatever, because it's not right. It's not right for you to be living in somebody's home and watch them work, and you're eating the food. So when I got to a point where I could basically self-sustain myself, I said, "Hey, how much is the light? Let me pay you half a light." And he was like, "No, save your money, save your money, brother. I want you to be able to stand on your own 2 feet eventually." This is my best friend from primary school into high school into now as adults, and I speak to this guy like once in a while or whenever I can, or every week him call me, have a car problem and talk to me. Anyway, the next thing that I definitely want to talk about is let me see. So we're back at this now, where we're talking about, at his day thou shalt give him his hire, neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor. We are all poor, and we do have our eyes set on our wages, because before it even coming our hand, it gone. It's budgeted out. And this is something that I was trying to express to my bosses last night as we were in a conversation of how I can return to work, how can they best help me to return to work. And I'm expressing that they want to, do a rent a car, and I'm like, I can't afford that. I cannot afford that. So they're like, oh, it's better than nothing. You're coming back to work. You're gonna be working, making money. It's better than making not making money at all. But you don't understand that when I do this, I'm putting myself in an even greater debt, and you don't care because your business is being supplemented and taken care of. But my life is diminishing because I'm there taking care of your business. And understandably too, do not be careless and heartless to your bosses, please, as well, because I'm not heartless to them. I understand that it's their business, it's their bread and butter, it's how they live and how they survive. But your business cannot survive based on the sacrifice off of my back, and the sacrifice of my family, and the sacrifice of my damn children, and our livelihoods, and the quality of our livelihood. It is time for us to, as grown adults, to take a stand against this. That's why so many millenniums, so many Gen Zs, they're not working. They don't want to work and have these people take advantage of them and manipulate them by telling them they're a great worker and use up their youth. I'm 40. I'm going to be 42 next year. I only have, like, probably say 50 more years of strength left. I don't want to be using that to not be. I'm telling you, my mindset is to get that land and probably even put my business on that land, my gymnastics business on that land, and grow that from then on there. Do you understand what I'm saying? In any case, now, we have to understand that you are allowed to cry out to the Most High for your pay. Too many times have you been manipulated into believing that, if you set your heart on the money that you're owed, you're focusing on money, you're a wicked person. Not true. Not true. And set his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee unto the Lord, and it be a sin unto thee. It is a sin unto them when they don't pay you. Whenever you leave a job and they don't pay you what they owe you, cry out to the Most High. It's a sin upon them. They're supposed to pay you what they owe you. A lot of people, immigrants are not. This is what I found. Immigrants are not. People who want to take advantage of you will take advantage of you, especially if they feel like you don't know the law or if you don't have anybody in your corner. And I realized this as an immigrant, that people will try to test you, especially if you're a man, they will try to test you. They will try to see what they can get away with, and they'll try to see if you have anybody back at it to help you. When they feel like there's nobody coming to help you, they will take advantage of you until there is no tomorrow. Whether you stand up for yourself or not, when people think that you have nobody to come and help you, come and save you, etc., they're going to take advantage of you. Um, this is why when I took my employer to court at the time, even though I was scared, I started to feel a little bit more confident that the Most High was in my corner. Anyway, moving on to the next verse. The next verse is Romans 4:4. Now to him that worketh is the reward not reckoned of grace but of debt. So when people are paying you and pretending like they're doing you a favor, they're not doing you a damn favor. Nobody's doing you a damn favor when you work and you earn, you give your time and your blood, sweat, and tears. They're not there. It's not a favor. I used to hear many times. There was this woman I used to work for. She used to say, "Oh, you be thankful you have a job because not many." No, no, no. Be thankful that you have a worker who's doing this job. It is not of grace, but of debt. You owe me that money. It ain't coming for free. You owe me that money. Stop letting people believe. Stop letting these bosses believe that you having a job is you. It's basically them doing you a favor. They're not doing you a freaking favor. You're doing them the favor because they owe you at the end of the day. When they pay you, it's not. It's not something. It's not a gift. It's not a gift. They, at the end of the day, they owe you that money and they must pay it. I don't care how they feel about it. They owe you that money. And the last one I'm going to look at is Luke 10:7. This was when Yahushua was sent out his disciples into these different cities to preach the gospel, and then he said, "Stay there, eating and drinking whatever they give you, for the worker deserves his wages. Do not move around from house to house." Listen again to what it says. Stay there, eating and drinking whatever they give you. So whatever it is that they agree to give you for the work that you do, for the worker deserves his wages. That's your wage for the work you do for the Most High. Give thanks and praise to the Most High, yeah. Without it, we don't know what would I do right now. Give thanks and praise to the Most High Yahuwah. Without him, we don't know what we would do. People, I'm bringing up these verses because I want people to understand, like, a lot of you want to go back to this normal state of life where, we're struggling to make ends meet, we're struggling to stay in our homes, we're worried about being kicked out, we're worried about living on the street, worried about so many things in life that we shouldn't even be worried about, because it's not fair that we're living this type of life. Can you imagine? Like, ask yourself this: when did the world decide that government would decide where you lived? I believe even Lazarus, the poor man, probably had a home to go home to. He didn't have to worry about home. He had to worry about food. He was a beggar. I don't believe all beggars lived on the streets. I believe that beggars obviously had a home. And if it was a case that they did live on the streets, I don't think it was like what we have now. I don't think people were paying for their homes. Everybody that had a home had a home. It wasn't something that they were paying anybody for. Yes, you had inns. I know you had inns. The Bible speaks about there being inns or hotels or whatever you want to call them. And those are people who basically rent out their living quarters to people who are travelers. But homes were owned right out. Nobody was paying no government for roads. Nobody was paying no government to wear their own clothing. Nobody was paying no government to for the for people were only paying government for like the war material. For war. Of course. To defend your nation, I believe you should pay that tax to defend your nation. But I don't believe that anybody who pays taxes for roads, for whatever it is, should be paying another tax for your car to be driving on that freaking road. It's not right that there are a subset of people deciding how you have to live your life while their lives are not affected by the rules that they make about your life. This is why the Most High has to correct it. It's an injustice to regular people. This is why on the day of judgment, all of them are going to be pissing their and shitting their damn pants, and they deserve it, and they should. They should shit their pants. They should piss their pants on the day of judgment, because we are going to be at the forefront judging them, or we're going to be the forefront when the Most High questions them about why our people lived like this. I know I'm ranting about this, people. I'm truly like in a bind right now. I'm asking you kindly to give what you can, please. I don't have a job right now. I am searching. I mean, I have to wait until to receive the letter from those people to say, hey, we're firing you, or we have to come to this thing where we have to work out how you're gonna come back to work. One of the two things. But I am not putting any more debt on my freaking house. I don't care what anybody says. I'd rather go find a new job and take the bus there to and from, rather than basically rather than basically put more debt on my damn head. But shalom, people. Enough love and respect. All praises to the Most High Yahuwah, Bahashem, Yahushua, Yahawashai, Yahusha. And also, respect to the Ruach HaKodesh. HaKodesh. Bless.